In my parenting journey, I feel like I'm growing and developing right along with my children. And just like they test limits and throw tantrums, I feel like I too reach my breaking points and lose it. And I want to hear from you. How can parents forgive themselves, move forward, put the guilt aside, get inspired again to commit to how they want to raise their children?
It's a really good question. And I'm so glad you asked it, because I think all parents experience it. And so there's the experience of not being perfect at parenting that we all experience, every single one of us.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I like to think about is, do we really want to achieve that concept of perfect parenting? Are perfect parents helpful to children in any way? And I think really not, because one of the things children are most curious about is, how do adults function? How do they make decisions? How do they make mistakes? And how do they learn from their mistakes? And then what happens? And so I think what children are so incredibly forgiving. I don't know if you've had this experience. I bet you have.
Yes.
In which you blew it and you did something you didn't want to do, and you looked at your child and you said, "I'm sorry, that's not what I wanted to do." And almost immediately children will say back to you, "I'm sorry too." It's just incredible. And so if we can think about trying to be the best parent we can, and then being able to honestly say when we've done something we didn't feel comfortable with, or we're changing our mind, "You know what, I changed my mind. You know what, I thought about that. You know what, that wasn't how I wanted to talk to you. I didn't mean to yell at you. I don't want to yell at you. What I was feeling frustrated, and what I wanted to say was this, and I'm gonna think about it, and I'm gonna talk to my friends, and I'm gonna read some books, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out some other strategies, so that I'm being more helpful to you, so that I'm helping you learn." But sometimes I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and kids are fascinated. They're like, this is like they're rapt. It's like, this is the conversation about mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I need to listen really carefully to what you do about mistakes, because it really helps me understand what I can do. And so I really think, in some ways, not that I want to encourage anybody to make mistakes, but
Right.
that mistakes are an essential part of being a parent, and they're also an essential part of teaching your child what you can do. What's a healthy response to making mistakes. And I sometimes talk to parents, often I will say in the beginning of a conversation, "Tell me something that went really well for you as a parent this week, something you feel really good about, and talk to me about something that was hard, that was difficult, that was challenging." And people have the easiest time finding the challenging thing and the hardest time finding the successful thing. And I think that's what we do to ourselves. I think we lay in bed at night and we go, "Okay, I blew it, I yelled, I didn't do this, I didn't listen to when she wanted this from me, I didn't do this," and we forget the other things. And I think it's important as a parent that we balance out that conversation that we have with ourselves. What did you do today that you felt really good about as a parent?
Right.
And I think that even more than keeping you in a balanced place, it's also the way that we model to children about how they can think about their own mistakes and think about themselves as a growing, learning person in context of those mistakes, because people who make mistakes also are very successful at a lot of things, and the mistakes don't define who you are.
Okay, I just want to reiterate that I'm honored to have heard all that from you. It's given me so much to think about and also feel good about as a parent. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for talking with me.